right, so welcome to the Bulldog Bark, episode 5. Yours truly, the Guru here. Unfortunately, we will be without Michael D. Rosa today because he is feeling a little under the weather, although he's tweeting a lot right now. So I'm thinking he's just watching some basketball. But we got with us BFC as always, and then Kyle, the Butler fan. Welcome, boys. So Butler is coming off I think, a rather good. I think about as good, other than winning the championship performance from the ESPN Events Invitational. The Dogs went 2-1 there in Orlando. A very good game against FAU. I don't care if they're down players because FAU won the whole damn thing. So they clearly were okay without those guys. Top 25 team, battled them the whole game, lost by 5. Then got some nice wins over Penn State and Boise State. And now the Dogs get to return from there and host the Texas Tech Red Raiders on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. In good old Hinkle Fieldhouse. Just posted today. It's going to be a blue out. So if you're out there listening, wear your Butler blue. It's a blue out on Thursday, again at 6:30. Let's make sure and that's part of the Big 12 Big East Challenge. So big game for the Dogs. Kyle, I'll pass it over to you first, man. What can we kind of expect with this Texas Tech Raiders team?
Yeah, I mean, defense. Texas Tech that's what they do. They play really good defense. I think that their offense, I don't have the KenPom numbers in front of me or anything like that, but I know they're top 20, or I think they're top 20 at least. I'm sure someone could check that defensively. As far as the ratings go, offensively, it's not like they're bad or anything. They've got some pieces there, but what they really pride themselves on is playing really strong defense. I wouldn't say they're amazing shot blockers or amazing on the perimeter. They just play really, really solid team defense. They've got really good individual defenders. They've got Warren Washington in the paint, who's really good at blocking shots. And ultimately, I think that FAU, despite being a really, really good team, I think Butler was able to exploit that defense in multiple ways. I think that this is a game that Texas Tech probably isn't going to have it as easy as Michigan State did offensively against Butler. But as far as a test for the offensive side of the ball for the Dogs, this is, going to be the second best test after Michigan State. These guys can really, really defend. That's what their new coach, McCasland, has them doing. I'm excited to see what we do in the offense. And I'm also just excited to see Texas Tech's defense.
And just to add some numbers, because you're talking about that. So in adjusted efficiency on KenPom for defense, they are 14th overall. Offensively, 97. So yeah, they definitely rely on the defense.
Just out of curiosity, where's Michigan State for defense?
Let me pull that up. Give me 1 second, because where is Michigan State these days on KenPom? There they are, number 19 somehow still. They are 7.
They're 7 for defense? Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I think that Michigan State's probably slightly better, but you're not going to get that many. You're not going to see, even in the Big East, that many teams that defend better than Texas Tech. So if we can put the ball in the bucket pretty well, it's a really good sign.
BFC, how about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, Texas Tech does not shoot the ball well. They're about 27% from 3 for the year as a team. They're leading three-point shooters around 33%. And just to put that into perspective, Butler would have 6 players that would be leading them in three-point percentage, including our boy Ethan McComb. Easy, doesn't miss. But that's going to be a clear advantage for us. We need to get aggressive shooting the 3, like we talked about on the last pod. In that Boise State game, nobody hit a 3 outside of Pierre Brooks, and we got away with it against Boise State just because we could score really at all three levels, so it didn't really matter. This is a game where we're going to have to hit the 3 because buckets are going to be tough to get inside. They have guys that just really kind of pound the post, good shot blockers. But if we can get DJ Davis going, I think that's going to be an X factor, is just shooting the 3 well, because it's just not their strength. So if we start hitting and, they then have to kind of play catch up, that's going to be big for us. I think getting out to a lead early is important on this team, just because they don't score the ball that well. It's not that they're a bad offense. It's just not their strength. So if we can kind of abuse it early, it would be a big get, just because, they really just don't shoot the ball that well, especially compared to some of the teams we played so far.
And yeah, so you said they're not that bad. They kind of are. Like, I mean, like, they have some players, but if you look at so I'm just pulling up some of their so they're 278th in points per game at 69.3. We average 80.6, which is 81st. So we average 11 more points per game. I don't have like the strength of schedule in front of me, so that obviously could impact some of that. Field goal percentage, they are 292nd at 41.4. 3-point percentage, they're at 329th at 27.4. Assists, 260th, 11.8. Assist turnover ratio, 225th. So like offensively, you're right. This team definitely, just from like the base high level, right, definitely has some problems. And is that I think this is gonna be an interesting matchup from the sense of it's kind of one of those like Butler's explosive offense versus like the stout defense, right? If we can, and then also Butler's kind of, I'm not gonna say lackluster defense, because we that Boise State game, we worked our asses off. I love the way that the boys came out in that Boise State game. But if we play defense like we did against, like, say, FAU, I think that gives Texas Tech enough of an opportunity, right? So maybe
FAU,
go for it, yeah.
Yeah. Frankly, FAU and Penn State, I thought Boise State and Michigan State even, I don't even think we played poorly defensively. But the truth is it goes two ways. You're going to have to try to break down a really good defense on this Texas Tech team, but you also have to stop them, because if you stop them, then your offense is able to, even if it's struggling a little bit, and keep you in the game, because this is a team you can stop. They need to put in a better, the first two games of the tournament, even the Penn State game that they won, I thought there were too many easy buckets at the basket for Penn State. So this is definitely a time where you see that this is a high major team that you're playing that's really good, that doesn't have the greatest offense. You need to attack this offense. You need to attack defensively, be aggressive, try to get out in transition. That's my big thing, is try to get out in transition, because when they set up defensively, it's going to be really hard to break them down. It just is, because they're a really good defensive team. That's what they do. So you can take advantage of their poor offense by attacking, getting turnovers and steals, running on rebounds. I hope that we get a lot of shots this game that are pretty quick in the shot clock, because when you give them time to set their defense, that's when we're going to have trouble.
Yeah. Where do you guys see maybe, because we keep talking about their stout defense, do you guys see a matchup that you think maybe is where Butler might be able to exploit some of that defense?
Yeah, their starters are there's nobody that you really point at that you think height-wise or physicality-wise is a real mismatch for Butler. I don't think. But the truth is you just got to lean on your wing scorers. You got to lean on DJ to hit some threes.
The nice thing too is like Pop Isaacs and Joe Toussaint, like Toussaint's like, I'm trying to look it up. Is he 6?
Toussaint's 6 foot. And
yeah, he's 6 foot, right? Yeah, 6
Isaacs
foot.
Is 6'2".
6'2". Okay, yeah. So the nice thing is, I know they play style defense, but hey, at least I feel like a lot of times our guards are a little undersized, so we're not undersized in, I guess, this scenario.
It's actually pretty incredible how evenly matched the starting lineup is height-wise, because you got Toussaint at 6 foot to Pasha's 6 foot, which is generous in my opinion. I think Pasha's more 5'11", and you got Pop Isaac 6'2" to DJ 6'1", which also might be generous. And then you got Warren Washington 7 foot to Jalen 6'10", or Andres 6'7" and then you got Cambridge and Williams, their wings, who are both 6'6". So,
yeah, see that. Yeah.
So there's no clear height advantage there for Pierre or Jamel. But I think that this is the game that, like, Jamil has been able to get real good matchups and just go at them. It's going to be tougher this game, because I don't think Williams or Cambridge, who are the guys that will probably be on Jamil, are that easy to break down defensively.
Yeah. I was looking, another thing too, because we talked about their not terrible, but pretty terrible 3-point shooting. Pop Isaacs, who is shooting this year 26%, shot 37%. So Kyle, I know last time you posted, like, I'm sure Michigan State's going to make every single shot this game. This feels like one of those, like, hopefully it's not one of those things where Popeyes is like, you know what, actually, I think I'm going to go back to my 37% from last year, shooting the 3, right? Because that seems to be a theme with Butler. I feel like all the time, like, guys like have their, like, come out game against us. So hopefully offensively we can contain them, because I feel like I don't know if you guys noticed this. This is just my thoughts. Our defense played really well. I don't so Claire. I always get his name wrong. Is it Clary on Penn State?
Yeah.
Like our pick and roll defense, there's just something doesn't seem quite right about it, and I don't know what it is. But I don't know if we're not hedging hard enough or whatever. But I feel like Clary just went around that like 99% of the time, like over and over again. I don't really know how you fix that, or like how Texas Tech run their offense. If you guys do know, please chime in. But I hope that doesn't become a problem too, because clearly both their top two scorers, by the way, are Joey Sant, who's averaging
about 13 or 14.
14 a game, and then Pop Isaac at 13.7. So
yeah,
got to stop those guys.
I mean, the issue there is that's pretty similar to Penn State as far as where they get their scoring from, because we know Penn State, as we watch them, Penn State's guys are Clary and Baldwin that they really go to, and Texas Tech has a pretty, like I mentioned, Cambridge and Williams and Washington. They're wings and big, very, very solid defensive players, not guys that they look to score very much. They really lean on Toussaint and Isaacs, the guards, for their scoring.
Yeah,
and their offense, I mean, they should be much higher than they are with the schedule they played, to be quite frank. They shouldn't be averaging 68 points a game when they've pretty much played 4 bunnies and then a Michigan team that was sputtering, and then they got smoked by Villanova. And we all agree that Villanova's gonna be very good. Michigan had that nice win against St. John's, but they've looked pretty bad since then. And then they barely beat Northern Iowa, who's now 2-4. I think they're better than that, but still 2-4. They shouldn't be averaging 68 points a game. So I don't think it's as if they've been playing this gauntlet. And they're 5-1, but they're keeping teams low, and they're just grinding games out starters. I just really think that offense is gonna be something we can take advantage of, because our offense, and this is the first time in a while we can say it, our offense in this game is a serious advantage. We've got probably 4 guys that can really fill it up. I think this is going to be a game where DJ Davis can really kind of take off and let it fly, because I do think we're going to be getting out of transition a lot. But yeah, this Texas Tech, their defense is stout, but this offense, it's just not that good.
So you're talking about who they played. I mean, this is like probably one of the most. I'm very curious what the spread's going to be, because this might be one of the most even. So our strength of schedule is 137. So Butler's, according to KenPom, is 137. Texas Tech is, there we go, 139. So we've had basically, they're saying, the same strength of schedule to this point. And then on top of that, they're 47th in KenPom, which, Kyle, don't get mad at me. I know you don't want KenPom, but KenPom, I saw your tweets today. So I don't disagree with you.
I think if you just based it on how the teams have performed this year, we'd probably be ranked just as high, if not higher, than Texas Tech. It's just they were supposed to be better preseason.
Absolutely. Oh, I 100% agree.
It is kind of a ridiculous standard, because you got they're just sputtering. It's like, well, why are they getting the advantage of like St. Mary's should not be as high? They look terrible.
No, I love. That's why I can't wait for the net to come out in December, because when the net comes out, that's what everyone uses, and the net is actually good, because the net uses what's happened this year. So
what I'm say for KenPom, like especially nowadays with like the transfer portal and stuff, like these teams are all completely different. Like it's not there's really not as much consistent. I mean, there's some, but there's not as much consistency as before. But yeah, no. So Butler's actually down to 58th. It looks like, after Maryland and Rutgers. Texas Tech at 47. But I agree, we'd be higher if not for that. Texas Tech did just for kind of recency's sake. So obviously we talked about Butler. Texas Tech did just kind of beat the crap out of Michigan. They're coming off a nice win against Michigan. So they have a little bit of momentum. That obviously Michigan is the same team that also beat the crap out of St. John's. So, but not like, I know.
And then Michigan's the team that barely beat a Stanford team, lost to Long Beach State. I don't think Michigan's horrible, but I don't think it's amazing to get a win over Michigan. It is pretty impressive to really beat them down like they did. I think it's a really good win. Really, for how much they won by, not just that they won.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is like obviously, and we already knew this, but Texas Tech is no scrub. Um, so if you guys had to pick who you I already said, what matchups we could exploit because we talked a lot about their defense. What if you're gonna pick like your player of the game, I think BFC, I think you said DJ a few times, which I love because them coming to Hinkle, the sheriff, I fucking love it. That's a great storyline. Red Raiders just getting shot down by the sheriff. But Kyle, I'll start with you. If you could pick kind of the guy that you think is gonna kind of take over offensively, because we've talked about this offense, right? This Butler offense is fucking fun, guys. Like I'm having so much fun. I know you guys are a little younger than I am, but this is the most fun offense they've had since the Kamara days, which you guys obviously know of. And which guy do you think like this is? Because we have options. Pierre's kind of taking the alpha role, but which guy do you think really exploits this defense for us?
Yeah, I'm actually looking weirdly here. Not to score the most, but I'm looking at Posh Alexander. The reason I'm looking at Posh Alexander is because he's seen a lot as a high major player who's played in the Big East. He's seen plenty of damn good defenses, and I know that he's going to. The game plan is going to be on him to break him down and find open shooters. I think that with his ball handling ability, his ability to get in the middle of the lane, take those mid-range jump shots, those little floaters that he does, that he's been really efficient on this year. I think that that's going to be a huge part of the offense. And I really think that if he can get guys like DJ Davis and Pierre Brooks, those open shots, and if he can orchestrate a way for Telfort to be isolated one-on-one, that's what's going to allow those guys to get success. I think there's some opponents, even high major opponents, that you can give the ball to Pierre, give the ball to Telfort, and they'll figure it out. I think this Texas Tech defense is too good for that. And I think that you need a guy like Posh to be getting other guys open shots. So I think he probably won't be the leading scorer just based on the last two games. If I had to pick a leading scorer, probably pick Pierre Brooks. If not, probably DJ Davis or Telfort, one of those three as far as the leading scorer. But I think Posh is a major, major part of this game, just running the point well, not giving them turnovers. Yeah.
BFC, how about you, man?
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned it earlier. I do think that our offense is going to go through one of two players, just kind of dependent on the pace of the game and if we're setting it or if they're setting it. If they're getting their offense, I don't think, or if they're getting into their defense, getting their defense set, they haven't really had to guard a 3-level scorer like Pierre yet. So I do think he has a chance to exploit it, get to all three phases. I know that their center can block some shots, but he's proven that he can go up against big centers and have success. If we're setting the pace, I think that DJ Davis is going to have a massive game because kind of what we want to do is get into our offense and get a shot off before they're set. And that's his strength. We've seen it all year. He missed a couple, in the last game against Boise, kind of on that break, but he loves that shot and he knocks that down consistently. And if he's doing that, I think, the sky's the limit for his scoring output. I think this could be a breakout game for him, especially after our buddy Rothstein left him off the three-headed monster.
Yeah, what the fuck?
He met all the transfers and left off our boy DJ. But we got you. But I think he's got a chance to have a breakout game here just because that's really his specialty is getting his shot off before the defense is set. And if that Thad talked about it today, he was talking about kind of setting the pace and what they like to do. And if we're able to do it, and I agree with Posh has he has a knack for for leading the break and hitting the open guy. But that kind of wing three from DJ, I think could be a complete game changer. So I'm look and then we say a breakout game. He's been very good all year. He's averaging, I think between 11 and 12 points a game. Yep. Had some big games. He has been phenomenal getting to the paint, getting to the line. But I think this is a game where we could see him go for 19, 20 points and really set the tone early.
Yeah. You know what I think is really funny is it's kind of like a joke or it gets overblown how much basketball and football coaches just talk about turnovers. Like when you have a coach as a kid, if you played basketball like I did, or I know a lot of people that play football, and then all the NFL and NBA coaches talk about turnovers. It kind of gets overblown because all these coaches, it's just always their main point. But turnovers to me might actually decide this game because when you think about it, we wanna run and turn them over and run because we don't want to let them set up their half court defense. On the other side, they want to get turnovers because they don't want to have to play half court offense because they're not really good at half court offense. So if they're able to run, they won't have to play half court offense. They can get easier looks in transition. I think Texas Tech, it's so important for them to not turn the ball over. And it's also so important for us to turn them over. I think that Posh, that's where I love having a guy like Posh because he influences the turnovers, whether or not he's actually stealing them. He's all up on a point guard, making them make a bad pass, and then a guy like TJ or Pierre can read a passing lane. I think we need to force those turnovers from them, and I think we need to not turn the ball over and force even if we miss the shot. I want us to get back because I don't want them. I want them to have to play half court offense because they're not very good at half court offense.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. So let's we talked a lot about all the stuff. Let's come down to by the way, I agree with all your guys' points. Like, I think DJ got a great game. I'm just high on the Pierre train right now. It's an easy answer. I think Pierre is just super confident right now, and I think Holman Hinkle, I think he's ready to make a show. So obviously, I think he's going to be the dude. It will be interesting though because, like you said, Kyle, I think you mentioned 6'6" and 6'6" for their two wings. So we haven't had a ton of matchups where they're kind of like the same height. So it'll be interesting to see if we can still exploit that. I just think Pierre is he's just kind of feeling himself right now, which I love. Right. We need that alpha male. We need that guy that's just he hit that three in transition off to the off to the right side. It might have been his last three he made. And the camera went to him and he was smiling the whole way down. And I was like, oh, this dude, he's in his bag right now. Like, he is feeling it. And I think that being home in Hinkle, where clearly our offense clicks at home because I know it's not against great competition, but we have clearly anyone's at home is usually shooting better. I think he's just going to continue. I think we have too many weapons where they're going to eventually have to leave him. He can score all three levels. I think that he's going to be our boy. So let's go prediction time. What do you guys think? Kyle, I'll start with you, man. What do you think final score for Thursday, Texas Tech Butler?
Before I say that, I'm just going to also say that home court, first big game at the home court. We haven't mentioned that. Speak loud. Anyone who's listening to this and is going, all the players.
I love the amount. Actually, I love what Butler. I love the blue out. Like, I'm sorry. I love it. I'm not trying to curse too much. I fucking love it because Butler, let's be honest, a lot of time, I feel like in the past, we just haven't had it. I'm excited about it. When they announced blue out, I don't care. You can blue, white, black out, whatever you want to call it out. I'll be blacked out, let's be honest. And I'm excited for this game. I'm gonna be double fisting. I'm gonna be yelling. It's gonna be a fun time. Kyle, sorry, back to you. But blue out, guys. Again, blue out. Everyone wear your blue, get loud. 6:30. I don't care if it's early, call off work early. Let's get to Hinkle. Let's do it.
First true road game for Texas Tech. Make them feel that it's a first true road game. Make them feel it. Don't make it like a neutral court. Like, I'm really excited to watch this game. I'm excited to watch Texas Tech, but I don't want it to be comfortable for them. I want it to be a hostile environment. I think that it's super, super important. Listen, Butler Faithful has seen, two very good performances in Orlando, but we had a really good traveling contingent there, but it wasn't the home crowd. I think if the home crowd sees us have a great game here and get a win, I think it's really going to propel the season. All these games will start selling out, like even not Howard. I'm just watching against Cincinnati. Buffalo next Tuesday. That's the type of game that the past couple of years has been like 70%. If we go and get a win this game, that could be a 90% attendance next Tuesday. That's the kind of impact a game like this has. As far as prediction goes, I'm going to go lower scoring. I just am. I think that's the nature of the way that Texas Tech plays. I don't think they're going to score much. I think they're going to hold us to less than we've been accustomed to. I'm going to go a 68-63 Butler win. I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think it's going to be a grinded out game. Do not think this game, like second half of the Boise State and Penn State game, you can kind of tell with 10 minutes left that Butler had it. I don't think that's going to be the case in this game. I think it's going to be a really close game. I don't expect us to run away with it, but I will predict a 68-63 win.
And one thing I'll point out there, Kyle, Butler, and I tweeted this today, and a few people mentioned it today. Butler's actually 20th in the nation in free throw percentage right now, which is insane. Obviously, DJ Davis is
At the end of
95.5, but actually a big shout out. I mentioned this on Spaces to Andre Screen, who is shooting 72%, which his career average is, I think, in the 50s. So he's hitting. It feels like he hits all of them, which is fantastic. And I think that's going to be, if we can continue that, I think that is going to be absolutely, kind of like you mentioned, close game. I think that's going to be huge down the line, especially at home, making sure we hit those free throws. BFC, over to you. What are you predicting?
Yeah, I agree. I think, lower scoring than what we've seen. I was going to go 71-64. I think it's a little bit closer than that, but like you said, I think, free throws can make games kind of just look a little bit different than they were at the end. But yeah, I think 71-64 is kind of what we're aiming for. I think we are going to need to score to win. If we get into a rock fight, that's exactly what they want. So I think hitting shots early, getting the crowd into it is going to be huge. And yeah, I think kind of a, 6-7 point win is what we should be aiming for, because they are a little bit more established than us just with their current rotation. So I know we get the home court, but we haven't necessarily been in a, kind of a dogfight at the end yet with this group. I mean, FAU, we were coming from behind, but I'd like to see us in a tight game at home. See Pierre kind of take over. See some guys hit some big shots in front of the home crowd. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So just for reference, KenPom. I know I keep referencing KenPom, but KenPom has this game as a win for Butler, 71-69. So you can't get too much closer than that, right? Only 1 point closer. So you guys are kind of right on that line. I agree with you. I think that the offense slows down a little bit. And really, if you think about the Boise State game, we only scored 70. It's not like we blew them out or anything like that. Granted, we shot maybe the worst we've shot since the Michigan State game in that first 10 minutes or so. Yeah, I think it's I think home court. I referenced the Kansas State game last year. I think that first true road game, and I love that Butler is advertising this. I hope we get a pretty big damn crowd. I think that actually makes a little bit of the difference. They're going into a hopefully hostile environment. Yeah, I think maybe I don't know. I'm just gonna say a number 68 to, I don't know, 63, 4, whatever you want to call it, right? So I think what is that?
I said 68, 63. It's fine. We can double up on it.
Oh, I do. I want 68, 63. If Kyle and I get this right, then we're like BFC as before, we're going to Vegas. So 68, 63 is the number for this game. But no, I think hopefully, again, Butler Nation, come out, show out. I think this team is different, and clearly this team has got some buzz. We're excited about it. I'm just going to keep saying it again one more time to Butler Nation out there. 6:30 Thursday, Big East Big 12 Challenge, home, Texas Tech. Get to Hinkle. Get to Hinkle. I cannot say that enough. Get to Hinkle. Blue out. Wear your blue, navy blue. Honestly, I don't give a shit. Just get there. We need to support our boys. We need to make Hinkle a home court advantage. We beat Xavier last year at home. We beat Villanova at home last year. Why? Because they were electric environments. Obviously, our team did well, but I'm saying those were electric environments. Let's bring it on. Let's bring it on Thursday, 6:30, and let's make this happen. This is the tough. If we can pass this test, boys, there is no reason, because we got Buffalo, California, Saginaw Valley. Obviously, Saginaw Valley is debatable on if you want to count it or not, whatever. I mean, it technically counts, so not towards the committee, but it counts as a record. So there's really, if you beat Texas Tech with the way California's playing, we should really be 9-2 coming out of non-conference, which is, probably the best case scenario you could have asked for. So again, Butler fans, get to Hinkle this Thursday. It's going to be exciting. I know me, Kyle, and BFC are super pumped. We're going to be there cheering our dogs. That's it, boys. So great preview as always. Enjoy talking to you guys. Go Dogs, and we will see you all on Thursday.